jump into it because I appreciate you guys being on time. I'm sure more folks will jump in here, and by all means, feel free to jump in if you got any questions or benefits. Quarter life updates. Starting off, Foxy Send, Dev had some fun and had implemented with compressed NFTs. Um, that actually was more so like a development with our main RPC provider that we utilize. Essentially them becoming or having that like integrated into their platform, so we were able to enable it for folks that use us. The thing about compressed NFTs, for those that aren't familiar, is you don't have the account sizing, so it's technically like an NFT, but you're sending it without actually needing to create a token account for it on the other end. However, if you do want to eventually do something with it, to my general knowledge, you have to create your own token account for it. So it's basically like a way where you can bulk send NFTs, but they don't actually turn into NFTs unless you like accept it. Um, so that's where you can kind of do it like on the cheap, and it's also like a different way of recognizing it as an NFT, like for a marketplace. Um, so just putting that out there for folks that then decide they want to create compressed NFTs on the bulk and send them out to people. Um, you can use Foxy Send to do that. On that same note, TMI supports burning compressed NFTs, but you don't get anything since there isn't on-chain data that's stored for it. I'm not 100% sure if that's true on like the receiving side. I'd have to go through, but basically, if you, or I'm sorry, not on the receiving side, but if you then decide you want to do something with it, I think there is some level of data that can be stored. But by default, if you're just sent compressed NFTs, you burn them, you get nothing. Um, so just putting that out there. The other like more fun thing that went out this week was the Dens portfolio. Not only did it go out, but kind of got like, a little enhanced for it. But it shows the overall stats in addition to the original stats. And so to kind of jump more into it, I just kind of broke out its own individual slide here. So the portfolio tab essentially just shows like your performance for that specific NFT. And it kind of breaks it apart by collection at the top, and you can basically filter down by individual one, shows you the date, how much it was purchased for, and it only cares in SOL value. So I just took a screenshot. I don't even remember which account this was from. I think this might actually be from my like main trading account. But it just helps people if they want to see, how they're doing, especially at like the end of the year when you get closer to like the tax harvesting side for, um, if you're in the States, you want to kind of do something different with your NFTs from a loss harvesting. I would definitely recommend checking that out. I'm sure people are doing it probably for other things as well, but you can now do it from your den if you're interested. Yeah, it's not tax advice, but it's also possible to bulk transfer, list, delisted, update, or burn NFTs. Right now, that's through both Tensor and Magic Eden as supported marketplaces. So dens are getting more useful essentially for folks that are traders or really kind of anything, as these are just like some general metrics that I think are overall helpful for people to keep track of what you're really doing without going to a different app and kind of trying to keep track of things that way as well. So it should be pretty helpful. And then Dev also wrote out a point that the ability to bulk send into AMMs as well as display your citrus loans and raffles will be coming soon. So again, more so just for people to have like an overall portfolio view um, of everything that you're doing really within NFTs. So keep an eye out for that. I'm happy to field questions if folks have. It's fairly straightforward if you jump in there and check it out. Obviously, the thing to note about it, right, is that you have to own a den in order to get access to this. So if you're poking around, checking out dens, you don't own one, you won't be able to go see like your individual portfolio without owning one. So just worth mentioning. Next point in here is our June holder only raffle for Foxy. So we launched that earlier today, prior to shooting out our announcement. We've allocated it, I believe it's like just around, it might be a little bit above 1,000 SOL. After we bought some of these prizes, I think they might have gone up in value, but around 1,000 SOL for the month of June, just in this specific raffle. 7,777 tickets, 1,000 Foxy each, and the prizes are shown here. Let me just double check something real quick. Okay. I won't get that squared away. So for FFFs, 8 TFFs, 5 dens. We then have a Klano, Monkey Baby Business, Degen 8, 2 portals, 2 Degen Fat Cats, 2 Cyber Frogs, I think are, and actually the Bomba Cloud are above 10 soul. And then we've got 4 Oogies, 4 Necrozumas, 3 Heists, 5 Ovals, um, 4 of the Necros, which are from the Gen Fat Cat team, 3 Acid Dash, which actually should also be above 10 soul, I forgot, and 5 of the Banks NFTs from Fract. So a pretty solid overall list of NFTs here. So in order to participate, it's 1,000 Foxy for each ticket. I don't actually have the numbers on how many tickets remain for it, but I know we just launched it before announcement earlier, so it might not have sold out of a crazy amount yet, but just keep an eye on it, as that will end an hour before missions launch next Sunday. So for me, that's 11 a.m. EST. Not sure what time that is for you, but an hour before missions go live is usually the easiest way to refer to it. And yeah, I mean, pretty solid list. It was actually a little difficult trying to find NFTs that are in like the 10 soul range, 10 to 15, that have decent volume in them. That way, if people are interested in kind of exiting them, that they can. So that's kind of why I went with a mix here, and why I picked up a couple of, higher priced ones, Klanos, Egen Apes, like Baby Business, supporting other communities that are kind of around ourselves. And then again, for others, some are citrus partners, some are building other things. Portals, we use this every week. So hopefully some folks get some good prizes for those of you that participate in it. Next up, as a general announcement for our citrus competition, it is ending soon. The last date is the end of the 30th, which is Friday. So I would say if you haven't gotten involved yet and you're interested, it's a long a long battle ahead, unless you have a crazy amount of soul that you want to dump, which is kind of the last point here. But it's been pretty good. I think a lot of people, have kind of commented on it. I think it's definitely captured the attention from the ecosystem. And we've been talking a lot more about lending and such like in general to the public. So I think it just helps, you know, create a different vertical for foxes and essentially really kind of bring people kind of more into our ecosystem and get the word out in general about foxes. I think that we're well known for, if not 90% plus from the space, but it doesn't hurt, right, to kind of branch out a little bit, capture more attention, give some more value prop to people, and basically one way or another, possibly bring them in as a holder. And for citrus, I mean, really the benefits are primarily for those that hold famous foxes with the discounted fees that we have on there. But but yeah, the competition is still going on. It's for 25,000 USDC total. It would split between the top 3 on both lenders and borrowers. And then there's kind of a breakdown here for the points-based system that we have set up for it. Um, and I know that we don't have the point on here, so I actually have to clarify with FoxyDAO if he's counting when they open or when they close, because if you're trying to do 5 points per soul 21-day loan, you're not going to close it before the end of the month, most likely. So I'll clarify that point, and I'll get that out for those of you that are competing for it. Um, but yeah, it's pretty fun. You know, it's the largest, I think, the largest USDC giveaway that we've done for sure. Um, I don't know if it's the largest, you know, based off of things that we've done. I mean, with raffles and such that we've had in the past. So, but definitely for USDC, our largest that we've done yet. All right, let's see. Next up, we've got missions and the raid. So I already mentioned the raid earlier, so I might as well circle back with that. But it was for the shirt camo. Took a little while to fill. I don't know the exact amount of time, but it was like kind of stuck. I'll say at like 100 out of 110 for quite some time. And it did fill. I was actually thoroughly impressed how many TFFs were up in there. Since it was a level 52 requirement, so quite a few TFFs were in that raid, which is exciting. And it is currently en route, so it will or active. I don't know, whatever you prefer. So that will end next week. And then for missions, just to kind of run through it, if you hadn't had a chance to launch your foxes yet, they are live. So for the we'll call it like kind of, it's not necessarily entirely a catch-up mission, but for the lower level mission, you've got, or level gated mission, I think is the way we refer to it, level 25 to 39. It's for any eyewear. Then for the solo, the other solo is a bowler hat, level 48 plus. We then have two, for the duos, two Vikings, level 48 plus. We've got the popular Vampire and Vampire Den. That's for vampires level 50 plus. And then for the trios, we've got two Beard and Stash, level 48 plus, and the Beard Den. And then last, and certainly the most difficult, would be three Astros, level 50 plus. So be sure if you haven't launched your missions to go in and launch them. They are live until Thursday, so feel free to jump in there and yeah, send your foxes off onto missions. Before I jump into my next point here, let me just see if there are any questions. Brink's so funny. Uh, Questions that popped in. Okay, thanks, Spoopy. So 6,811 tickets remain for the raffle. And Brink's trying to have all foxes fall to their death. Perfect. Yeah, so good question from maybe Lemonade, asking what happened to Juice. So Juice is still live. We are going to roll it out for redemption in July. So don't know the exact date yet, but sometime in July. I was talking with Foxy Dev. I think the good part about it is that it's giving people time to accumulate juice, and then that way, once prizes are put out there, then folks can kind of go in and grab what they want initially, and then whatever's left. I mean, we'll have to figure out how we're re-upping different prizes and all that kind of fun stuff. But it's going to be, you know, a revolving process and us figuring out like what makes the most sense for those that are getting juice. So they will be going live in July, that I can confirm. Let's see, anything else in here? Nothing yet. Cool. Well, one fun alpha thing that I didn't put in announcements yet. I know tomorrow the SMB Gen 3 team is working with us to put out like a little announcement, but we are one of three or four collections where they've actually built in a fun fox-like trait. that they'll have in their Gen 3. Let me see. Let me just double check the information that they gave me as to what I can or can't say about it real quick. Let's see. They're keeping the other collections secretive. That much I do know, but I'm sure tomorrow, like that'll probably be public for more people. Um, all right, so randomly minted along with the rest of the collection, so it's part of all of the Gen 3s that are minting. Um, they said there'll be about 60 of them across the whole Gen 3 collection, which, if I'm not mistaken, is 10K. I think.
I think so.
Yeah, I think it's 10K. Because I know there's 5K for the Gen 2 holders, one per, and then I think they're doing another 5K in a raffle and all this other kind of stuff. So 60 out of the 10K, so quite rare actually. Um, and three other collections, so four in total that get this kind of how they referred to it as homage. So this is what the trait will look like. That way you can see it too. So it's a little foxy onesie. Um, I mean, it's pretty fun.
Are you sharing this?
Yeah, I'm sharing
Are you
this.
allowed to share it?
Yeah, I'm allowed to share this. I told them I was going to, so.
Cool.
Yeah, so I think it shows. Yeah, so I think it'll be cool. I mean, like I said, there are three others that will have something kind of similar too, but albeit pretty rare across the board. Um, it's been pretty fun kind of working with them to figure out, a way that, fun little fox trait that can work into the the Gen 3 collection. Yeah, it's on Portal, so actually, you know what? Maybe I can. Let me see. Can I do like a double screen share? Here, let's see if that'll work without crashing too much stuff. Yeah. There you go. Hopefully that works. Let me know if that worked for you, Coffee. Yeah. So it's pretty fun. I mean, we're one of four collections they considered for it, so I'm at least happy with that. And really curious to see how they end up doing with the Gen 3 collection, for SMBs and what happens to the future of that. Yeah. But yeah, this is our little foxy onesie. So it's fun. All right. Is that a foxed monkey or a monkey fox? I think it's a foxed monkey, is what I would say. Um, all right, cool. Well, I'm gonna disconnect from, let's see, to stop streaming on this one. Yeah, perfect. Are there any other questions? That's the last thing I had in here, so, I don't think I have something else, no. So kind of open it up to questions. And if not, we'll get into some chests. I know it's a little bit of an early day. I don't know if it's because I'm like cracked up on caffeine or something.
Cocaine.
Cocaine. Cracked up on cocaine. New hoodies soon. Do you mean like supply wise? Like for the current inventory, or you mean like different styles and things? Designs. Yeah, that's a good question. So I don't know the best way of probably phrasing this, but we've been approached, I mean, over the existence of us being around by probably no less than like 100 different vendors for merch. And there was one recently that reached out that I think is kind of interesting that I want to get some product from to see what their materials and what their quality is like, what their packaging is like, all that kind of fun stuff. Um, so possibly in the not so distant future. Um, but right now, we don't have like anything major in the pipeline for it. Um, but I think me personally, I mean, having done what we've done so far with Foxes and merch and all that fun stuff, I don't think it makes sense for us to keep doing the model that we have, which is, you know, doing like this. We'll call it like a little bit extra on the design side, in sourcing material and all that kind of fun stuff. I think there's a lot of like really good, we'll call it like print on design options, but I mean more than that because there's a lot of shops now that are doing more like customized print on design styles, for insert whatever kind of merch type. And I'm interested in kind of exploring maybe a little bit of those kinds of options, just because, in all honesty, it's expensive to kind of keep inventory for merch, and to re-up inventory has decent costs to it. For us, most of that, ends up kind of being marketing, as we kind of give a lot of it out for free with our missions, which is, in my personal opinion, a solid perk. Um, but it comes at the cost of everything else, if we're getting up to that point. So I think there's a lot of other options out there, and definitely am interested in trying to get to like more of a, call it like on-demand style, or something along those lines. I think would be pretty awesome. And then at the same time, it opens up the door for more customization for folks that are interested in getting, their own foxes on different pieces of merch, if it's not directly considered like a design from us and all that fun stuff. Because I think there's like a little bit of a mix of the two, for merch, as far as like what people are interested in having. And actually, fun fact, I am a mentor right now for I don't know if it's technically considered like a competition, but 10 different projects that are going through this whole, I think like beginning to end style. It's kind of called Shark Tank-ish, if you will, but for different projects that are creating on top of Solana. And the team that I'm linked up with, they are focused on merch, specifically on kind of like not single use merch, if that makes sense. Um, but yeah, I thought that was kind of fun. So I think they do their pitch on Tuesday, so I have another meeting with them tomorrow. But yeah, merch is definitely interesting in the space.